Okay, so let's talk about Gamma Plus clippers. Firstly, let's just quickly do a little bit of history. So Gamma Plus have been around for a short while. They would definitely be classed as a new disruptor brand in the barbering industry. You know, we've got established brands like Wool, Andis, Oster, Babyliss, who have been around for many years, but there are a number of new brands that have come into the mix to disrupt things and to be disruptor brands that will bring things to barbers and to customers who want to buy clippers that maybe say some of the more established brands haven't done as yet. And what we find is quite interesting when you get disruptor brands coming in, sometimes they can help force innovation because they'll start to do things that the bigger brands aren't doing, and then people will start saying, well, hold on a second, why aren't the bigger brands doing the same things that these disruptor brands are doing? So Gamma Plus, I think, is definitely that kind of brand. And I'll be honest with you, their clippers have been around for a while, been aware of them. I've heard people give commentary about their clippers, but I had never actually felt or experienced their clippers myself. But last month I did go to the Barber Connect Expo in the UK, and Gamma Plus were there, and it was my first opportunity to really get hands-on with their clippers. And unfortunately I wasn't able to record any content there with their clippers. Unfortunately that wasn't allowed. I did ask, but yeah, wasn't allowed. But I played around with their clippers long enough that I could do this video to let you know what my thoughts were on them. So there's a few clippers that I want to talk about that I experienced whilst I was there. I will be using my iPad just to help me here because I don't want to miss out details. So the 4 clippers I looked at was the Gamma Plus Boosted, which was being launched early there. Before the full public launch. It has now gone fully public, and they were doing it at a slightly better price as well. I think they were doing it for about £140 or something like that. So that was going to be their latest clipper to come out. Then you also had the Starcraft Saber and the Starcraft Mythic clippers that were both there. 2 very interesting clippers. And then something that's been around for a bit longer was the Ergo clipper as well. Different design, but very interesting clipper as well. So I got to play around with these 4 clippers, so I thought, you know what, let me just let you know what my thoughts were on them. So let's start with the Starcraft, the Starcraft Saber and the Starcraft Mythic. Firstly, let's just do a little bit of a tech rundown on them. So the Starcraft Mythic has a 9-volt microchipped motor, so it runs at 10,000 strokes per minute, which is powerful. And I can say in the hand you could feel the power, and you could also really see the speed of the blade, and it felt like a good blade if you want to remove good clipper if you want to remove bulk quickly, smooth and quick fading because of the power delivery that it had. Now the first thing that I did notice about this clipper, and it's also the same for the Saber version, is the weight. Both of these clippers are metal bodied clippers, so they were heavy. How heavy? I would say they were heavier than a Wool Senior, definitely, in my view. I hope I'm right on that. I mean, the statistics might prove me wrong, excuse me, but yeah, it did feel heavier in my hand than a Wool Senior. But certainly, like I say, they were both powerful clippers. And then they had say the DLC black diamond carbon blades, and on the Mythic, with that powerful motor that it does have, the battery life was 2 hours, a 2-hour runtime using them cordless, and it does have a rapid, sorry, actually, correction, go back, sorry, it is a 3-hour battery time, sorry, correction there, so 3-hour battery time on the Starcraft Mythic, and the charge time was a 2-hour rapid charge, as they refer to it. as well. Now what it does also state with these clippers, and this is where this whole disruptor element comes in, where it says that within the box was included short and long form brackets, which ultimately would allow you to adapt the clipper to do different styles of cuts. So in essence, for example, you know, you could have, let's take wool for example, a magic clip has a shorter form bracket, but a wool legend has a longer form bracket that allows you to open the bail arm and the blade up wider so that you can do a longer, say a longer fade for example. But they include two different brackets within the package to support short and long form what do you call it, short and long form setups for different kinds of cutting and techniques and kinds of cuts that you want to deliver as well. So I think that's simply something that's, say, a disruptor feature because it's all included in the box. I think the power as well is disruptive in terms of those 10,000 strokes per minute, having that powerful performance there. And then they did include within the box magnetic guards with this Starcraft Mythic. Now the price of it in the UK is £207, so it is a premium clipper in terms of pricing. It's at the higher end, not at the highest, but it's certainly at the higher end in terms of cordless clippers as well. And it comes in this kind of like black stroke, kind of spacey grey kind of colour, yeah, almost like a dark black, but you can also see the inner workings of the clipper. Now something that's different with these clippers was the lever. The lever is quite different on these clippers. I'd almost say that if you were someone that has say big hands, big thumbs, this might be suited to you, as it's got quite a wide diameter on the lever to really almost like support a thumb. You'll see it in the image that I'll put on the screen so you can see what it looks like if you haven't already seen it. So yeah, now in my hand I didn't really like the lever. That's just my personal view. Solid built clipper, but that whole lever and the way they've got it set up, it felt a little bit too far away from the main body of the clipper just for smooth quick action in terms of moving the lever. So that was something that for me personally I wasn't really a fan of. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. No, I think that pretty much covers it. So that was my feeling in regards to that clipper. Now obviously as regards to now the Starcraft Saber, same commentary regarding the feel in the hand. Heavy, didn't really like the design of the lever because they have the same design, but what is different about the Starcraft Saber is battery life, significantly different. So the Starcraft Saber does have it's got a powerful motor. It delivers 7,500 strokes per minute, but the battery life cordless is 6 hours. Now that is way beyond anything else that other clipper companies are doing at the moment. The only one that people might say is in that mix would be say Babyliss with their Snap FX, but that also is a lot more expensive than the Saber, which is £215 in the UK. Okay, and I think the Snap FX is closer to 300, I think about 289, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, it's that's phenomenal battery life, 6 hours. And then as I say, you can sorry, the charge time is 2 hours as well, so it's still a 2 hour charge time, but yes, 6 hours battery life, which is pretty phenomenal. And they share a lot of the other same features that was already mentioned in terms of the body, the weight, the build, etc. Also, one other thing that I didn't mention about the lever is you do have the ability to customize the lever, so it can either be a floating lever like what you would have on a Andis Masters, a wall clipper, wall senior, wall legend, etc. magic clip, or you can have it on a click system. So that's again another disruptive feature. You can choose if you prefer the click lever system, which I actually do. You can have that, or you can just have a floating lever, which I think is another great feature that they have added as well. So that was my thoughts on the Starcraft range. Then it came to the Gamma Plus boosted clipper. So this is a new one that was just being released in the UK. And just give you a quick rundown on some features. It mentions that it's got a super torque motor at 7,200 strokes per minute, interchangeable body kits, so you can change the lids, I think it was, on them, change them out for other colors. And I think they also came in the box. Once again, a DLC blade there, and once again you've got the option to choose the click lever system or the floating system. It's up to you to decide which one you want. Does also come with tight or standard bracket options for shorter or longer fading, for example, as well. There's zero gap hit, which is pretty standard with most clippers. And then the battery life in it is 120 minutes, so 2 hours. Okay, 2 hours battery life on this clipper. Now rapid charge on it, it says it's 150 minutes with either a cord, a docking station, or a mini USB charger. Okay, so different options in terms of how you can charge it. And it also has a light indicating battery display on it as well. So that was another, if I can say, good feature of it, and I think another disruptive feature. So now to the actual feel. Now, of all the clippers that I tried, I will say this felt the best in my hand. They've actually taken, if I can say, the wall design in terms of the bottom of the clipper. It's got that kind of wall grooves on the bottom, so the way it fits in the hand for me was the most comfortable, was very nice to hold in the hand. But I have to say, the lever, it was a plastic lever on the side, and I didn't like the lever in terms of the motion wasn't smooth. Okay, the lever actually looks quite similar on it to, say, the lever on a Babyliss Pro FX clipper, but it didn't have the smoothness of the clicks. It was a bit jumpy, a bit stuttery, I found, when I was using it and just playing around with it on their stand. So that for me was a bit of a downside to the clipper. But the way it felt in the hand, it felt very nice in the hand. I actually, of all the clippers, I say it was the one that to me felt the best in hand. Okay, and then to the let me just make sure I get this right, I don't want to get it wrong. Is it the Ergo X, or sorry, the X-Ergo? I knew I was getting something wrong. Okay, so this is a magnetic clipper motor, very powerful. Once again, 10,000 RPMs. Now I have to say, I really enjoyed this clipper as well. Quite surprisingly, I wasn't sure if I'd like the form factor in my hand, but once I had it in my hand, it felt great. What I did notice about it is how quiet it was, considering it had such a powerful motor. Super quiet, felt really nice, almost like a hum to it when the motor moves and the blade moving. Of all the clippers, if I had to choose one, if Gamma was going to give me one, I would probably ask for the X-Ergo, based on how it felt. Or overall, the overall build quality, the weight of it, I really liked it. I was quite intrigued by it. Also, another plus with the Gamma clippers, they mentioned that they do the wall premium guard system automatically fits it, which is great. That's another win there as well. But yeah, the X-Ergo is a two hour battery life and 105 minute fast charging. Let's just make sure I'm not missing anything else out. Okay, so yeah, you have a combination once again of using the click lever system or the floating lever system. Now the one I used was set up with the click lever system, and it felt great. It was smooth, it just clicked beautifully, which I say was contrary to what I experienced with the boosted plus, I believe they called it. That wasn't so smooth, but this on the X-Ergo was very smooth. So yeah, in terms of how it felt, I really enjoyed just having that clipper, being able to have it in my hand, play around with it for a bit, and that gave me my kind of first real hands-on experience with a number of the Gamma range clippers. So I think my overall assessment of them is, one, I think they're doing good stuff as a disruptor brand. Now their clippers are coming in at, say, a high price. They're not at the entry level, but I think from the build quality that I experience, I think it warrants the price that they're charging based on the current market. They're not right at the very top end, kind of maybe say in the mid to high end, but the clippers felt good. Yeah, I say I enjoyed playing around with them. I do think for me the Starcraft and the Mythic was a bit too heavy for my liking, and like I said, I didn't really like the lever position, but I think for somebody else they would be perfect as well. So do you know what, guys, I'd love to hear from you. If you're using Gamma Plus clippers right now, leave comments in the comment section, let us know your experience with them, or if you've used them and it didn't work out for you, you know, let us know in the comment section. What has your experience been using these clippers long term? Like I say, I don't own these clippers as yet, so if you have owned them and maybe say you've had good or bad experiences with them, it would be great if you could leave some comments for us so we can see what they're like to own. So guys, that's it for me. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until the next time, peace.